In our fast-paced world, we're constantly bombarded with visuals, right? Our brains are actually hardwired to filter things out just so we can function. We see a forest, but we completely miss the trees. We see a tree, but we totally glaze over the individual leaves. So today we're hitting the brakes. We're going to practice the fine art of close observation. We'll be using some structured visual analysis to unpack one single image, just to reveal the wild, hidden complexities sitting right there in plain sight.
So, how much can we really learn from a single glance? Think about your morning commute or the view out your kitchen window. You probably glance at nature every single day, but what are you actually taking in? Are you seeing the brilliant engineering, the crazy geometry, the interplay of light and shadow? Usually, our brains just register the color green and we move on. But in this explainer, we're challenging that default setting. We're taking one split-second capture of the natural world to see exactly how much knowledge we can pull from it when we actually choose to look.
Take a look at our main subject for today. Just take a few seconds to absorb it. Don't overthink it yet. Just get that broad initial impression. It's a branch. It's got green leaves. It feels like a bright, sunny day. This is the exact single glance we're talking about. It's a beautiful, peaceful, and seemingly super simple snapshot of a forest canopy. But definitely hold on to that thought, because we're about to dismantle this simple scene piece by piece.
First up, setting the scene and looking at the broader context.
When we break this scene down into its foundational parts, we immediately start seeing the framework nature built here. We aren't looking at some isolated, lone leaf. This is a whole cluster of broad leaves hanging out together in a tight little community. And notice how they're attached to these incredibly thin, delicate stems. It's a really cool contrast against the wide surface area of the leaves. Now look past all that green. Back there, you've got these blurred, woody branches. Photographers call this a shallow depth of field. Because that background is out of focus, your brain is instantly drawn forward, creating a distinct foreground and background. It gives the whole thing this rich, three-dimensional depth that makes the front leaves literally pop right out at us.
Moving on, let's analyze the shape, which is essentially nature's geometry.
See? In nature, shape is almost never an accident. It's usually a highly evolved, brilliant solution to a specific environmental problem. Just look at the dramatic change in the geometry of the leaf from top to bottom. If you focus right on the middle, you'll see a leaf that starts at the top with this beautiful, broad, almost heart-like curve. That part is entirely designed to catch as much sunlight as possible. But as your eye travels down, the shape completely shifts. It doesn't stay wide, it sharply and cleanly tapers down into a very narrow point. It's just a fantastic piece of natural engineering.
And that drastic taper leads us right to a very specific adaptation, the elongated tip. Take a second to really scan the cluster and count how many of these long, extended tips you can spot dangling downward. There's one pointing almost straight down in the center, another curving off to the lower right. Botanists actually call these drip tips, and they work exactly like natural funnels. You can basically think of them as the rain gutters of the jungle. In super rainy environments, water has to be shed off the leaf's surface fast. If it just pools up, you get fungus and bacteria, or worse, the leaf actually snaps under the sheer weight of the water. So that elegant little curve, that is a highly efficient, life-saving drainage system.
Moving inward, we find the internal support system, the prominent midrib.
Focus on those leaves right in the foreground again. Look closely at those striking, pale yellow-green lines running right down the middle, going from the stem straight to that drip tip we were just talking about. They contrast so heavily against the darker, fleshy green tissue of the leaf body, they stand out like brightly lit highways. And this isn't just structural support to keep the broadleaf flat for the sun, it's the main pipeline. It's the primary vascular channel pumping water and vital nutrients through the entire structure of the leaf.
Now, the really cool part is that this midrib doesn't work alone. Branching off from that thick central line are all these smaller, finer side veins. You can see them radiating outward, pushing right to the edges of the leaf. They divide, and then they subdivide again, creating this incredibly complex, highly visible geometric grid right across the surface. It honestly looks like a map of city streets or a massive river delta viewed from space. This vein network is there to guarantee that absolutely every single microscopic cell in that broad green surface gets the water it desperately needs for photosynthesis.
Finally, let's step back and look at light, shadow, and color. Let's see how all this builds together from an artistic standpoint. Think about the bright foliage versus the dark foliage. Up in the upper middle, the leaves are taking a direct hit from the sun. They look bright, lime green, super illuminated, almost translucent. You can practically feel the warmth of the sunlight passing right through that thin tissue. Now compare that to the dark foliage tucked away in the lower left corner. They are heavily shadowed, showing up as this deep, opaque forest green. The canopy above is completely blocking the light, hiding their details. That intense contrast isn't just there to look pretty.
It's exactly what tricks our eyes into feeling the volume and reality of a two-dimensional image. Let's bring the whole shebang together. Look at the complex interplay of these light, shadow, and color gradients across the canopy. Notice how that bright lime green totally highlights the pale yellow midribs we analyzed earlier, and how the deep shadows define the sharp taper of those drip tips? The sunlight perfectly exposes the intricate geometric grid of the veins on the top leaves, while the shadows swallow it up on the bottom ones. Suddenly, it's not just a patch of green anymore, is it? It's this incredibly dynamic, multi-layered environment where light and biology are constantly interacting.
And that brings us right back full circle. By structuring how we observe, taking in the macro composition, checking out the geometry, analyzing the biological anatomy, and then finally appreciating the artistic play of light and shadow, we've unlocked a completely new level of understanding. We took one everyday split-second image and revealed a massive amount of natural engineering and artistic depth. All that incredible complexity was sitting right there, just waiting for us to actually stop and look. So, here is the thought I want to leave you with today. What hidden complexities are waiting to be discovered in your next simple glance? Next time you walk past a tree, gaze out a window, or even just stare at that houseplant on your desk, remember this explainer. Don't just see green. Look for the structure. Look for the wild adaptations. Notice how the light hits it. There is an entire world of fascinating detail out there, totally free to enjoy, if you just take a second to truly observe it. Thanks for exploring this with me, and I highly encourage you to take this new, focused lens out into the world. Happy observing.